People often ask me how this whole radio gig came about, and the story is actually kind of interesting. For a lot of years, I've been doing a lot of interviews with press and with radio and TV media. When an athlete would get hurt, they'd want an orthopedist's opinion as to what that injury meant. We came up with the idea of a half-hour sports medicine show, and AM 830 Angels Radio was willing to give it a go. So we started out with a 30-minute broadcast. The first time, I was really kind of out of my comfort zone and really kind of nervous. So I scripted the whole thing, and basically it was just like a news anchor reading the whole 30 minutes on the air. I listened to it afterwards and I said, that's not Alan Beyer, that's not gonna fly. So from then on, we just went to a couple of bullet points, just talk conversationally and wing it from there. It grew to an hour show, it grew to having guests, it grew to having call-ins and emails, and that's where we are today. We've had people from Billie Jean King, Jamal Wilkes, Gary Vitti, the old trainer for the Lakers, golfers, Olin Brown has been on the show, Chuck Finley's been on the show. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's really become a lot of fun and become kind of my second hobby.
It's time for the Doctor in the Dugout with orthopedic surgeon Alan Beyer.
Hello again, sports fans, and welcome to another episode of Doctor in the Dugout. And I'm thrilled to be joined here today by somebody who I consider a close friend. I've known him for a long time and worked with him a lot, Gerry Halverson. Gerry, thanks for being here with us today. So I know Gerry from back in the days before he was even working at Big Canyon as part of the professional training staff there. And matter of fact, I think I was probably a little bit instrumental in getting him over to Big Canyon. But let's first talk about a little bit where you grew up, Gerry, where you went to school, how you got into this whole schmear.
Years ago, I actually had surgery on the left side of my face, and I needed therapy. The therapy wasn't going very well at the therapist's office, so I did a lot of study on my own, and I helped rehab my own paralysis after the surgery. Then I got into massage therapy, helping clients reduce aches and pains, but I realized, hey, that still wasn't the end all. My clients still have a lot of aches and pains post massages, so I started doing strength and conditioning with them, and here I am many years later, heavily involved in exercise and fitness.
And the amazing thing about this whole exercise and fitness world is how much we've learned about it in the last 10 or 15 years. I mean, it was kind of like caveman-esque almost years ago in the old weight room where guys would just work the stack and nothing else. I mean, it's really evolved a great deal in the last years, hasn't it?
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, I think nowadays, and especially too, because I work with an older clientele, mainly with the golf world, in the 60-plus category of ages. We're helping all these guys. The 60 is the new 40, would maybe be a way to say it. We do a lot of flexibility work. We really work with people's posture. We work on balance. There's so many things we're doing that have nothing to do with weights.
But the evolution of a lot of the equipment that we use today.
Yeah, I mean, I spend so much more time with resistance training using cable machines because they're so versatile. We can move them in so many different directions and do exercises from different angles. They're just great machines.
How does somebody look for a personal trainer?
A lot of people just go into the gym that they're using and ask people at the front desk, hey, where do I start? And usually you get an introduction to a trainer. They'll take you through the gym, show you what's going on in the gym, talk to them about all the different options that they provide for doing fitness.
What questions should they be asking the personal trainer about how he or she trained, what their expertise is? What's the right way to do the interview for your personal trainer?
I mean, you want to know experience. How long have they been doing this? What is their specialty? Some people focus more on flexibility. Some people focus more on strength. Find out, too, what is the age range that the trainer's working with? That's a big thing because there's a lot of trainers out there that are working with very, very young bodies that can just take any kind of stress. And if you're somebody that has injuries, and you need to have someone that's a little more specialized and has experience with injuries and aches and pains.
So really the first part of the process is an intake. Why are you here? What are you looking to get out of this? What limitations do you have? And what other conditions that you have that may or may not contribute to what I'm going to do for you? So once they get started, does somebody need to see the trainer multiple times a week, like when they go to physical therapy 2 or 3 times a week? Or is it usually enough for them to see the trainer once a week or every other week and develop a program that they're doing mostly on their own?
Well, that's the motivation of the client. I have clients that I become maybe their coach. I might see them once a week, once a month, once every 2 months. Then I have clients that really need special attention, and I'm seeing them 3 times a week. You know, when you first start with a client, I spend a lot of time watching how they move, and based on how they move and what they can do, I write up a program. And then that program I can hand off to the client to take with them. I can provide it to them if they lose it down the road or can't find it. And then when they come back, I have a record of exactly what we did the last time I saw them.
And how much of a commitment does it take in terms of the rest of their lifestyle? Do you take things into account like nutrition, supplements?
I really work on food and nutrition all the time. We discuss it constantly. I can't tell you how many clients come into me and say, hey, you know, I want to lose some weight around around my midsection. And I explain to them, look, we can't do that just in the gym. You have to look at what you're eating, and that's the only way you can really make those changes.
So what other modalities do you use besides just what they come to you at the training room that's pretty well equipped? I mean, do you recommend that people do water therapy? We're pretty big on that in orthopedics because of the resistive effect of the water and the fact that they're buoyant and not fighting gravity. How do you feel about exercise in the pool?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. We have a pool at our facility, and especially when I have clients that have aches and pains or post-surgical clients, they need to do non-weight-bearing exercises. I love seeing them in the pool.
When you're working with somebody who's a golfer, how do you approach that specifically for his golf game rather than something else that he might be doing?
Well, the first thing I'm going to look at is posture with any golfer. How do they address the ball, and how are they standing with their posture? And I see so many energy leaks in people's posture. So we start to develop their posture. Then we start getting them more flexible. I haven't seen a guy walk into our center that doesn't need help with range of motion and flexibility improvement. So those are the 2 key areas I focus on.
So what do you do with a golfer? Okay, 60-something-year-old golfer, a guy comes in like me, or he's stiff, he doesn't have great range of motion. You know, what's your approach? How do you work it?
Well, first I'm going to start stretching you out. From me stretching you out, I can figure out where you're short and tight, and then I can start designing that flexibility program you need.
And how long is it going to take before a golfer's going to start to see a difference in what he's doing out there based on what's happening in the training room? This isn't something that you go once and the next day you go out and shoot your best score.
My clients, they'll start to respond to training in a week to 2 weeks if they're following the program. That's the big thing.
And do you tell them to do these things every day or every other day and work different groups every other day? I mean, how do you approach that in the average 50 or 60-year-old?
When we're talking about flexibility, I want them to stretch every day, sometimes twice a day. When we're talking about strength, the strength components, certain strength training exercises they can do every day, certain strength training exercises they can't. And so I guide them as to what the protocol is.
I'll tend to advise people sometimes as far as strengthening, work your uppers on Monday, your lowers on Tuesday, back to uppers on Wednesday. Is that the right way to go, or are you better to mix it up a little bit?
I tend to do more of a full body training session with each of my clients because they're only going to exercise and strength train 2 or 3 days a week max. I mean, these guys are golfers. They're not guys that are really excited about being in the gym many times.
Before we get into the emails, I've still got Gerry here in studio, so I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about one other thing that I know is a passion of his that he also does, and that's the use of a device called the hammer. Gerry, explain to our listeners a little bit about what this device is and what you use it for.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a deep tissue massage machine. What I have is a small motor that's about a 1/2 horsepower. I have a long cable that spins at a very high speed, 33 to 3,500 RPMs. Then I have a little handle that's got a little hammer head, and it just goes out in and out at high speed. I take a towel, place it on my client's back, and I work right on all their soft tissue.
I'm going to get into our emails, and this is almost going to sound like it's a plant, but it's not. And I'm going to let Gerry weigh in on this too. This is from Frank in San Pedro. Help me. I'm a golfer, 57 years old, and just started doing a strength training program with a personal trainer. I'm 5 weeks in and feel stronger, but my golf swing has gone to pot. I just don't have the same feel of my swing, and it seems like my mechanics are all off. Could it be related to my newfound muscles? Gerry, I'm going to let you answer this one.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard this happen. As soon as you're more flexible and stronger, yeah, your body's better, but it does throw your mechanics off because you're used to swinging with that old body. Now you've got a new, renewed body, and you need to go right to your golf pro and you need to work with him, and he's going to get you on track quickly.
All right, we're gonna get into our sign off here. I want to thank the whole crew at HOI, continuing to knock it out of the ballpark. Our outcomes are just off the charts. We're continuing to be the model for the delivery of orthopedic care for Orange County, and it takes a team to do that. Just like a baseball team or just like a football team, it takes teamwork in the operating room, and I'm blessed to have a great team that makes me look good at HOI and at our surgery center. So a shout out to all the crew there, and if any of you ever need anything in orthopedic care, you know the first place to look after listening to this show. You're listening to Dr. Alan Beyer, your Doctor in the Dugout, and we'll see you soon. Keep listening to the Doctor in the Dugout, and as always, we're brought to you by the Hoag Orthopedic Institute, where we're the experts at getting you back to you.